We're going to start a series of 4 chapters on ecology now, which is the interaction of living and non-living things in the environment. 3 and 4 we're going to do together, and then have a test, and then 5 and 6 we'll do together and have a test on those. The biosphere is the layer of Earth in which life exists. So this is on land, underwater, and in the atmosphere. Relatively speaking, it's a pretty thin layer, although it doesn't sound like it if you look at these dimensions. 8 kilometers above Earth's surface and 11 kilometers below the surface of the ocean. It doesn't sound like a relatively thin layer, but compared to the Earth itself, it's a relatively thin layer. So like I said, ecology is the study of interactions between organisms and their physical environment, so living and non-living things. There's a web of interdependence between organisms and the environments in which they live. What you see here is a food web, which I think most of you are probably familiar with. Organisms respond to their environments and can change their environments, which makes the biosphere ever-changing. It's interesting because then you bring in economics, which is a human thing, interactions based on money. Economics and ecology share the same word root. And there's a link between them. Humans live within the biosphere, and they depend on ecological processes to provide essentials, food, drinkable water, and we bring that in to our society, buy and sell things for money. Ecological studies can focus on the different levels of organization. Make sure you know these in order. So an individual organism, pretty self-explanatory. A population is a group of individuals that belong to the same species and live in the same area. A community is all the different populations that live together in the same area. An ecosystem is the community together with the physical environment, temperature, soil, water availability, things like that. That's the ecosystem. Then we have a biome, which is a group of ecosystems that share similar climates and typical organisms. What you see here in this satellite picture are desert biomes. You can have tundra biomes, grasslands, temperate forest, boreal forest, wetlands, all those different types of biomes. And then the largest is what we started with in this screencast, the biosphere. The entire planet, all its organisms, all its physical environments. You need to look no further than the beginning of these next 2 words to figure out what they mean. A biotic factor is any living part of the environment with which an organism might interact. Animals, plants, mushrooms, bacteria. Biotic factors relating to a bullfrog could be the algae it eats, when it's a tadpole, its predators, the herons that eat bullfrogs, and other species that compete with it for food or space. If you put an a or an in front of a word, it negates it. So an abiotic factor is any non-living part of the environment. Sunlight, heat, precipitation, humidity, wind or water currents, soil type are some examples. So again, with the example of the bullfrog, abiotic factors that would affect it: water availability, temperature, humidity. There's an interaction between these factors. They can be influenced by each other. Pond muck contains non-living particles, but it also contains mold and decomposing plant material that serve as food for bacteria and fungi. So pond muck in the middle here is a mixture of biotic and abiotic factors. Trees and shrubs will also affect the amount of sunlight, range of temperatures, humidity, and chemical conditions of the soil. So we have a living thing affecting the abiotic factors. So it's a dynamic mixture of factors that shapes the environment. Different ways that ecology can be studied, first and foremost, is observation. It's the first step in asking any ecological question. Experimentation can be in an artificial environment, or an experiment can attempt to be conducted in natural ecosystems. Modeling can be used to try and simulate circumstances or conditions. Some ecological events occur over such a long period of time or over such large distances that they're difficult to study directly. So the models are used to help try and understand these phenomena.